And all of a sudden, like, messages just started dropping in my spirit back to back to back. So I want to come on here and share some insight with y'all. All right. I hope you've been having a great Black History Month. So as we close it out, this is what the Lord spoke to me concerning this movie, Harriet. It said, Harriet was a slave and she ran her way to freedom. By faith and conviction, she was going to be free. What is your faith telling you? What is your conviction telling you? Do you want to be free? Okay? Keep that question in the back of your mind. Do you want to be free? I remember in the movie, she's saying something that hit me. She said, I will be free or I will die. And this was the part of the movie where she ran. They finally caught up to her on the bridge. She seen the waters flowing. She was afraid. She was like, listen, I'm about to jump, okay? I ain't going back to where I came from. I'm about to jump because I'm going to be free or I'm going to die. That's how important her freedom meant to her. Some of y'all need to realize that your freedom will cost you everything. Your freedom will bring you to a point in time in life where you're going to have to make a decision. Are you going to be free or are you going to die? And I'm not talking about a natural death. I'm talking about a spiritual death, right? I'm talking about, are you going to fight for your freedom or are you going to die in your bondage? My God, this is what God was saying to me. Brittany, are you going to die in your bondage or are you going to run and fight for your freedom? So it said, as the movie continued, they would show moments to her where she would have these fainting spells, but in the midst of the fainting spells, she would get revelation. She would get direction. It said God gave her direction and she acted in faith. How many of you are sitting on direction and instruction and conviction that God has already confirmed to you that you have not acted in faith? When God gives you a vision, your mindset must match. It must match. God gave Harriet a vision of freedom. He gave her a vision of her setting people free. He gave her a vision that she can do this, that she's not going to be a slave all her life. I mean to tell you, when that master declined their freedom, even though they had papers stating their freedom, he would not let them be free. So in that mindset triggered her to say, oh no, I'm going to be free. And not only am I going to be free, I'm coming back for everybody. When God gives you a vision, your mindset must match so you can see the physical, what God has already shown you in the spiritual. So you can see in the physical what God has already shown you in the spiritual. And I looked up the word conviction. It says holding a strong, firm, and unwavering belief or opinion that you are sure is true, often leading for you to stand up for something. What are you willing to stand up for? What are you willing to stand up for? And I'm telling y'all, all this was at 2 a.m. and it was blowing my mind because this came to me at a moment that I needed. Brittany, what are you willing to stand up for? What are you convicted for? Are you going to fight for your freedom? Are you going to fight for the freedom of others? And I'm not talking about modern day slavery. I'm not talking about being held by a master, but the things in our minds have taken master over us. The things that we are experiencing in this day and time have became our masters. So my conviction is I want you to be free. I want you to be free in your mind. I want you to be free in your heart. I want you to be free in your spirit. I want you to be free. Then as the movie continued, and this one made me mad. This one made me upset because then came the trackers. And the trackers just so happened to be your own people. My God, your own people will sabotage your progress because they don't want to see you free. They don't want to see you leveling up. They don't want to see you successful. They don't want to see you thriving. They want to see you in bondage. They want to see you broken. They want to see you defeated. It be your own people. against you. These trackers were hired to track her down, to stop her from stealing slaves right up under their nose. That's how cold she was with it. She said, no, I'm going to go back to the plantation and I'm going to take them right off the field. But the trackers was the ones, yeah, they headed north. Yeah, we got to sit on them. They made a dip. They did the right. They did this. They went left. They went straight. They went this. It be your own people trying to sabotage your progress. But baby, when God is with you, and God is with you, there's nothing that can come in between you doing what God has called you to do. There is nothing that can stop you from getting to your destiny. And as a matter of fact, it's not only a destiny for you, but just like Harriet, it was a destiny for something bigger than her. Your destiny is tied to something bigger than you. So I said, my God, some people are going to betray you because they would rather see you suffer in bondage than to see you free. Some people are going to lie on you. Some people are going to disrespect you. Some people are going to just poke and poke and poke. Some people are going to gossip about you because they don't want to see you free. They want to see the old you. They want to take you back a notch. They want to call themselves humbling you. Some people do not want to see you elevate because they would rather you stay on their same level. But baby, you say, I got to go higher. Somebody put it down in the comment section. I'm going higher. Whether you like it or not, I'm going higher. Whether you agree with it or not, I'm going to be free. My God, they would rather see you stuck in bondage than to see you free. Listen, I'm not joking, y'all. I took notes. I took notes. So then it became a question of faith. A question of faith. And what I loved about Harriet is she acted in faith. She didn't hesitate. She didn't have no time to second guess. She had to be on the move. She had to move when God told her to move. She had to pause when God told her to pause. She had to wait when God told her to wait. And she didn't have no choice because she would have these fainting spells. And it wasn't no telling how long these fainting spells would last. But when she came to herself, my God, somebody ought to say, I'm coming to myself. When she came to herself, she had to move. She had to go. And she had to act in faith. She didn't have time to consult with nobody. She didn't have time to get nobody's approval. She didn't have time for nobody to give her permission. When she came to herself, she knew she had to make a quick decision. God told me to go this way, I'm going this way. God told me to go that way, I'm going that way. God told me to detour and wait because God can see what's up ahead of us. God can see further than we can. So when we try to move ahead of God, there's traps, there's dangers, there's plots, there's schemes, there's attacks. We got to learn how to wait on God. And that's, again, what I loved about Harriet. She waited on God. She prayed every time she made a move. When she was scared, she prayed. When she was unsure, she prayed. When people told her, Master, go, she prayed. And that's what they didn't like about her. She was a praying woman. She was a woman of faith. And that's probably why they don't like you. Because you're a woman of faith. You pray before you move. You pray before you act. You pray and ask God for his direction. And I need you to understand, God is going to send you where you are needed. He's going to send you where you are needed. The Underground Railroad didn't know they needed Harriet until Harriet showed up. They don't know they need you until you show up. But how are you going to get there is the question. By faith. That's how you're going to get there. People don't know they need you until you show up. That's why I'm here to encourage you. Show up. Act on your faith. Act on those moments where God is saying, yes, do that. Yes, go there. Yes, turn here. Yes, turn there. Act on that faith. Don't second guess yourself. Those days are over with. As long as you know that God is calling you to it, God will see you through it. My God. God has a bigger plan in mind for you. And I asked God, Lord, what is your bigger plan for me that I cannot see? I see sometimes life doesn't work out the way we want it to. Life doesn't work out the way we planned it to. But she still had a calling on her life. She still had a destiny to fulfill. You still have a calling on your life. You still have a destiny to fulfill. Even though up until this point, life has knocked you down. Life has disappointed you. You've made some mistakes. You went back a lot of times. But there is still a purpose and a plan for your life. It didn't look like it was in Harriet's favor. But she didn't let that stop her. She said, okay, cool. You went and married somebody else. I'm going to cry. I'm going to feel hurt. But I got an assignment on my life. You have an assignment on your life. Let me say that again. You have an assignment on your life. And you cannot give up now.